It's a hoax, isn't it? Net zero. If the enemy is carbon, then surely the last thing you would do is chop down a load of trees in a place that is considered the lungs of the planet to build a 4-lane motorway for a summit about saving the planet. Hi, I'm Nana Acquia. This is GBN Originals. You'd think, surely I'm joking, but they're blazing. They're not even trying to justify it because it's unjustifiable. This so-called climate emergency doesn't seem to be all that urgent, after all, because they've just bulldozed through an entire length of the Amazon rainforest to build a road so that delegates can get to COP30. You couldn't make it up. An event that, if they were serious about saving the planet, would be done online via Zoom. Let me read you some of the promises from the previous COPs. COP27 took place in Egypt. Global leaders gathered to talk about saving the planet whilst, ironically, travelling there by private jets. They discussed reducing emissions whilst sipping on water shipped across the globe. The world's top environmental experts came together, but the speeches were riveting. Politicians gave impassioned speeches about the green future. No one mentioned the word sustainability more than 5 times in a sentence, and the excitement was palpable. If you count the success of the summit by the enthusiasm of the camera crews and the event organisers, then it was a blazing success. Although the real star of the show, however, was not the climate solutions, but the enormous air conditioning units in the rooms. Funny how people talk about reducing carbon emissions whilst cooling down the entire desert. Oh, the irony. Seriously, it's a scam. We had promises of billions in funding for developing countries. By the end of the 2 weeks, the world agreed to keep moving forward and doing more, which, let's face it, is the political equivalent of saying, we'll talk about it soon, although what is soon to you might be next week, next month, or perhaps at the next conference. Is this a climate summit or a big budget reality TV show? Find out next year in COP28. Who will actually follow through on their promises? 4 key themes were identified in COP27: mitigation, adaptation, finance and collaboration. The headline agreements from the conference were the establishment of a loss and damage fund and finalising the details to implement the Santiago network. It was also the first time food security was recognised. Well, enter COP28. So what happened? Not much. World leaders arrived via private jet again. Another year, another round of climate promises with a whole lot of "we'll get to it later" thrown in. This time, the world's finest minds gathered together in the UAE, the United Arab Emirates, a region that has made its wealth on oil and gas, where they discussed how to save the planet whilst burning through fossil fuels and living it up in luxury. Again, the irony. But hey-ho, who doesn't love a good desert backdrop whilst talking about global warming? The event itself was a mix of high-level speeches, vague commitments and the occasional pat on the back for reducing emissions. Somewhere, maybe in some small corner of the world. You'd think after all these years we'd have moved past "we'll try harder next time." But COP28 gave us more of the same. Sure, there were some bold statements like, "we must act now." But when you peek behind the curtains, you see the real action happening with those fossil fuel lobbyists still running the show. Oh, the thrill of the battle between saving the planet and saving profits. A highlight, however, was the continued drama around climate finance for developing nations. Promises to deliver billions of dollars were made, but like the last time, we were left wondering if it would actually reach the people who need it. And by the end of it, the leaders were patting themselves on the back, feeling accomplished for, simply showing up and pretending to care. COP28 was yet another reminder that we can talk about change, set lofty goals and hold some inspiring conversations, but no real action. Maybe by COP29 something may happen. But alas no. COP29, Baku, Azerbaijan. Again, the world came together via private jet. But this time it felt like we were all in a never-ending rerun of the same old climate change drama. The summit was held in the beautiful, not so sustainable location of, wait, hold a minute, a floating luxury resort. Yes, because nothing says saving the planet like hopping onto a giant boat powered by renewable energy and a few thousand gallons of not so renewable champagne. It started off like every other COP, a flurry of speeches from leaders all swearing that this was the year we'd finally tackle the climate crisis. No more empty promises, they said. The room was electric, literally charged with excitement and, of course, the hum of air conditioners working overtime. Yes, even in a world allegedly dying of heat, air conditioning is still the must-have. This year's hot topic was climate justice, the idea that the rich countries should cough up some serious cash to help the poorer ones survive the climate mess we've all created. The pledges? Well, a lot of zeros. The delivery? Well, let's just say there was a coffee table in the corner stacked high with future promises. But of course, everyone was too busy socialising with celebrities to actually check whether anyone was keeping track. And who could forget the new cutting-edge innovation of the summit, a carbon-neutral selfie booth, where you could take a picture of yourself pretending to care about the planet, and then it only cost a few more years of ocean level rise. By the end of COP29, the same old line was repeated. We'll do better next time. Negotiations even overran and concluded on the 24th of November 2024. But they've outdone themselves this year because as our Energy Minister Ed Miliband flies out to China to convince them that COP30 is all that, to try to get them to attend whilst they build yet another coal power station, the Brazilians, where COP30 is to be held, are busy building a 4-lane motorway through the Amazon rainforest, so delegates, some 50,000 of them, can travel to the conference to discuss saving the planet. Remember COP26 in Glasgow, the plan that everyone would travel via EV to the centre itself, but they had to use diesel-powered generators. I'm sorry, but they don't care. The whole thing is a hoax. Thank you for watching. This has been Nana Acquia. Don't forget to subscribe to the GB News YouTube channel for more.